Well, good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Lindsay Monroe, and we have had quite the overnight with the heavy rainfall through the past several hours. A lot of new flash flood warnings have been issued. We have several that are going to be in effect through 6 and 7 a.m. and we're still getting new flash flood warnings issued here. So I'm going to follow you on Facebook. Please feel free to comment with your questions, concerns. I'll be able to read them here on my phone and then be able to communicate that back with you over the next few minutes while I walk you through live Doppler 13 radar. So this is the past couple of hours. Good news is that severe threat as far as the damaging wind gusts and the hail and that tornado threat is coming to an end. So we did have that severe thunderstorm watch that was in effect for our friends over in Illinois. That's what that yellow box was that has since been allowed to expire. So that is a good thing. However, we're going to be dealing with these heavy torrential downpours over the next few hours, and that's what's going to continuously lead to that flooding threat. This is a flash flood warning that's going to be in effect until 6 a.m. This is in effect for our friends in Rush County down through parts of Shelby County, as well as northern Decatur County, where there's been multiple inches of rainfall reported through the overnight. And this is the newest one. This is a flash flood warning that just went into effect a few moments ago until 8:45 this morning. This is really the zone that I'm concerned with, because this is where we have another batch of very heavy rain. As you can see, all of this red on the radar that's moving out of central Illinois and working its way in our direction. So this one, it includes a good portion of Montgomery County from Crawfordsville down to Greencastle, northern portions of Owen County, and then throughout Park and Vermilion counties as well. So that's our newest flash flood warning that's going to remain in effect through 8:45 this morning. This is that line that I'm monitoring here as we go over into Illinois. This is working its way in our direction, and we've got frequent lightning embedded within this as well. So this is going to be tracking off to the east toward Clinton, toward Rockville within the next 30 minutes. This will be moving into the city of Mecca in about 26 minutes, into Waveland as well. So this heavy rain, it is still working its way in our direction. We're not quite done yet. We have had one busy overnight, and even yesterday evening, some of the videos coming out of the Bloomington area are just very impressive with some of the flash flooding that this zone has been dealing with, from Vigo County through Owen County over to Bloomington. Even our friends as far east as Nashville, Indiana, Brown County, seeing some of those flooding reports from the overnight. And again, unfortunately, with all of these alerts, they're going to be ongoing at least until about 7 o'clock this morning until we can get this storm cluster out of here. Very latest as far as our rainfall potential and what we have already picked up. These are radar estimated rainfall totals. So essentially what it does is it takes what's going on in the atmosphere and it correlates that using an algorithm and how much rain could potentially have already dropped out of some of these thunderstorms. We've had an impressive amount in southern Owen County. This has been kind of that target zone where we've seen the highest rainfall reports. Parts of Monroe County nearing 4 inches of rainfall overnight, nearing 8 inches in this small swath of southern Owen County. We've had reports of over 5 inches as we go into Clay over to Vigo counties. Also, as we head a little bit farther off to the east, now Indianapolis looks like you're going to be included in a new flash flood warning. That just went into effect a moment or two ago. And nearly 4+ inches from Greensburg up to Rushville, Shelby County as well, seeing reports of over 4 inches of rainfall from this overnight. Good morning to everyone who's watching with us. Rebecca, Jewel, Lori. It's going to be a busy morning for us. At least over the next several hours, the rain's going to continue. And with that is adding on to these actual reports. So out at the Indianapolis International Airport, where we get our official observations, over 2 inches of rain in the past 24 hours. Bloomington has officially picked up 3.32 inches. But as we know, getting underneath some of those thunderstorms quickly could bring in a lot more rain than what actually falls at the observation site. So we could see, again, reports of 5+ inches. And as far as what's still on the way now through 10 a.m., I wouldn't be surprised if we picked up an additional 1 to 3 inches in some of those heavier downpours, especially with that cluster that's moving in from the west now. This is that flash flood watch in effect for a good portion of central Indiana until about 10 o'clock this morning, when we finally start to dry things up and the system starts to push out. Here's what's been going on our radar over the past 12 hours. We've certainly had this heavy, widespread rains, the severe storms that moved through yesterday evening, and then through the overnight, it's been this secondary cluster of storms. Leading edge of that now starting to bow out. So we're starting to see some of the heaviest of these storms here moving into the western part of the state, and then eventually this is going to push through as we get into the next few hours here. So we're not quite done just yet, but once we can get this storm cluster that's in Illinois now through the area, we're going to see some improvements and some more dry time into the afternoon. So as far as what we've got going on this morning, this is still going to be active through about 10 a.m. Primary threats still could see some of those damaging wind gusts. Some small hail has also been reported, but nothing that's been of severe limits. Nothing like what we had around yesterday evening. But I do anticipate that biggest threat from here on out being the flash flooding concern. This is just something that we have to pay close attention to if you're going to be traveling, especially in low-lying areas. We get into some of these local roads that are prone to flooding, and they could be completely washed out in a situation like this where we get so much rain in such a short amount of time. And in addition to that, our local creeks and tributaries, those are also going to be up elevated. And with flash flooding, the good news is it does tend to recede quickly, more so than just your run-of-the-mill flooding where we get a lot of rain over an extended amount of time. It should start to recede rather quickly, but over the next few hours, this is going to be an ongoing threat. John asking, will the storms weaken? A lot of them have weakened. We haven't had any new severe thunderstorm warnings since about 4:15 this morning. That was the latest one that was allowed to expire. And nothing new since then. So mainly just dealing with these flash flood warnings from here on out for the rest of the morning. Eve asking how long the lightning and thunder are going to continue. I believe through about 9-10 a.m. It just depends on where you live in this state. It's going to clear from west to east. This is the forecast for this morning. Going to call for those storms at least early on, and then we get some dry time. So this is going to be great, an opportunity for a lot of this flood water to start to recede. We dry things up a bit, but I do not think we're going to be completely done with that storm risk for the weekend. Let's walk you through the next several hours. So obviously from now, there's that heavy banding that's going to set up through 7 o'clock this morning. Still looking at the widespread rain as that pushes south. By about 9 o'clock in the morning, a lot of this is going to start to wrap up for the Indy Metro and places farther to the north. And then after 9 a.m., this is all going to start to push south. Here's 10 o'clock in the morning, and eventually by noon, this is going to start to wrap up. We get in on that dry time into the afternoon. Temperatures are going to be hindered a bit for today. I still expect us to get close to the mid-80s for highs. The atmosphere is going to have some time to recover a bit as we get into the later afternoon. This is about 5 p.m. So I'm still going to call for a high in the middle 80s today. But after about 5 o'clock, another round, some of these pop-up storms are going to be a possibility. So keep those evening plans for tonight, but certainly have an eye to the sky. I do not anticipate it being as widespread as far as the severe threat as compared to what we had around yesterday. But a few of those storms could be on the stronger side getting into the evening tonight. Now, this is the setup for Sunday. Let's pick this up around midnight. These are going to be some lingering pop-ups late in the day, so right around midnight, and then through the overnight, we start to see those pop-ups deteriorating. We get you into Sunday, so now we're into Father's Day, and I have the Storm Prediction Center map overlaid for Sunday. This is our severe weather outlook, so you can see the northern extent of the state is in this yellow zone. That's a level 2. The green is a level 1, so slightly more widespread storm threat for our friends in northern Indiana. This is at 7 p.m. on Sunday, and I expect that to be that better chance that we do see some of those stronger storms on Father's Day. The rest of the state looks to be in pretty good shape for the second half of your weekend, so that's some good news there. We've got some messages from Bloomington. Stephen saying that the power outages are all around and it's a little wet outside. Mount Comfort is getting hammered right now with some heavy rain from Alex. I definitely see that. And Laura asking where those outages are. I do not have that map exactly pulled up, but I can definitely get that information to you and post that link to different websites for our utility companies in this chat. Jennifer asking anything heavy for Hancock and Henry counties. Yes, it's still coming down there. Let me step out for just a second. I'm going to re-rack my show, take you back to the radar so we can do a little bit more analysis just to show what's kind of going on outside right now. So the biggest threat, again, ongoing are these new flash flood warnings that are going to be continuously issued here over the next couple of hours as we have this line of storms that is moving through. And then let's put this into motion. Heavy rainfall now, yeah, so it really just depends on where you are. The farther north, places like Marion to Fort Wayne, you're getting a little lull in the rain right now, but this is what I'm really concerned about. It's this next round, the leading edge of this storm line that's going to bring in some strong wind gusts as well as that torrential rainfall and lots of lightning. Most of these radar scans, we've picked up nearly 300 lightning strikes per scan, and that's quite a bit for the part of the state that we're dealing with here. Lisa's saying that the south side of Indy has no power. We've had some outages reported near 10th and Franklin. So thank you for these outage reports. Some outages on the southeast side of Indy is what Katie is saying now. Davey asking about the commute from here to Fort Wayne, or from Muncie to Fort Wayne. Right now it's kind of about the clearest spot you can get, so the sooner you can go the better before this next round of rain moves in. So again, we're going to just continue monitoring these areas of heavy rainfall. Again, we've had some very impressive totals from the overnight. The highest amounts have been down in Owen County and DeClay County, reports of 7-8 inches in some spots. So definitely going to be talking a lot about this as we get into 13 Sunrise. We're going to kick that off at about 7 a.m. today. So we're going to be on a little bit later just due to some programming adjustments for today. But of course, I'm going to be on Facebook Live. Should we see any new warnings initiate, we'll keep you posted there. And also those power outages, we're going to get you some links, and I'll post those in the comment section. Let me just check a couple more before we sign off here. Asking if it's going to get worse in Indy. I do think it's going to get worse in Indy for the next couple of hours because, as you can see here, we're dealing with just some of the greens on the radar, but we've got this that's headed in our direction. These storms have been generally tracking to the east at around 30 miles per hour. So I do anticipate some very heavy rain moving into the metro here as we get into the next couple of hours. So by about 7 a.m., I think that's going to be a concern. Asking about tornado potential. I really think that's kind of coming to an end. We talked a lot about that yesterday. We did have a couple of reports of confirmed tornadoes in the viewing area, one up near Jay County. We had a couple of warnings down in the Wabash Valley yesterday evening. But that threat's really coming to an end. More so the focus is shifting from that severe threat to the flooding threat over the next few hours and as we get into the first part of our Saturday. So yeah, tornado threat going down. A lot of folks kind of concerned with that. I get it. Obviously, we talked a lot about that potential yesterday. So low threat of tornadoes. In fact, we just are dealing with a completely different setup right now as compared to last night. So primary threats could get some strong wind gusts out of this. We've got that frequent lightning, torrential rainfall leading to flash flooding, and that's going to be our primary concern as we go through the morning. Of course, we'll keep you posted on here, and looks like we did post that map for the outages on this chat. So if you want to scroll through there, you'll be able to see Duke Energy updates, the AES website, and the Indiana Michigan Power website is on there as well. And one more quick question before we sign off. Janice asking how much rain, how much rain's already fallen or how much more is to come, because we've had, again, some really impressive totals here, especially in some of these flash flood zones. This is that flash flood warning that remains in effect for the next 30 minutes or so for Rush County, Shelbyville, and near Greensburg, where we picked up 4 to 5 inches of rain already. And then we've got this new flash flood warning until 8:45 as the rain continuously falls now. I would expect an additional 1 to 3 inches on top of what's already fallen in this zone here as that storm tracks off to the east. And again, we just had this new warning issue that does include the Indianapolis metro, Marion County over into Hendricks County. We've got Morgan and Johnson counties included within that new flash flood warning, and I anticipate that going through about 9 a.m. And of course, that's the Weather Service accounting for this next round of some heavy rain that's moving into the western side of the state now. All right, and one more report from Bloomington. Jamie saying the power is out there as well, at least on the east side where you are located. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. I really appreciate your reports. We're gathering a ton of information from overnight as far as the latest reports. We've got Sarah Jones, our reporter, who's actually going to be heading down to Bloomington to give you some live pictures from there. Everyone, please stay safe. Remember, turn around, do not drown, do not drive through a flooded out roadway, especially when it's still dark. It is just impossible to tell how much water is flowing across a roadway, and it does not take much to move a car or to get you stuck or to put yourself in a very dangerous situation. So please avoid that. Probably just avoid traveling if at all possible, at least until we can get this heavy rain out of here. And April asking how bad the winds are going to be incoming with this storm. This storm could potentially produce 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. It is below severe limits, and that is around 58 mile per hour wind gusts. So it's going to be pretty close to that. I do anticipate there potentially being some downed trees and branches associated with this that's moving through. Again, it's not warned right now, But should that change, of course, I will pass that information along to you. If it does look like it's starting to intensify and the Weather Service puts a warning on that, we'll let you know. But no severe thunderstorm warnings currently in effect, just dealing with these flash flood warnings this morning. We'll bring you more on Facebook. And of course, remember, you can join us live on Channel 13 starting at 7 o'clock this morning. Be safe, everyone.